Did you know that taking time to do some stretches around the pelvis and for the pelvic floor might help the pelvic floor muscles work better? That seems really strange, doesn't it? When you're thinking your muscles are weak and feeble and what you need to do is tighten them up, we actually know now that a lot of people would benefit from stretching out as well. So today we're going to look at why we need to stretch out, who might need to do that, and how to do them really well. To understand why muscles might need to stretch out, I want to show you my whistling. So if I whistle, watch my lips here, I can whistle fairly well, not brilliant, but fairly well. But if I distort the muscles around my lips, now I can't whistle very well at all, because my lips can't work the way they want to because things further away are pulling them out of position. If I loosen off and put myself nice and symmetrical again, I can whistle. Now the pelvic floor is the same. It's right in the middle of the pelvis, surrounded by other big muscles, your glutes, your hamstrings, your adductors, even your tummy muscles from above. If we're out of kilter, and a bit asymmetrical or pulled off one way more than the other, the poor pelvic floor muscle in the middle can't do that well. We often find if mums start by stretching out every day just for a few minutes before they go to bed to get really nice alignment back around the pelvis, then suddenly, almost without trying, their pelvic floor muscles start to work better as well. So do you think you might be somebody who is a bit out of kilter? If you had a difficult pregnancy with pelvic girdle pain or back pain or just a very heavy baby, you might have found you were limping around a bit towards the end. Really common is to have had to work your muscles very hard during your labour. So if you did a lot of squatting and using your legs to support you, or maybe your legs had to be up and held at a funny angle for a while, that could also be something that would have made your inside thighs work really hard and your tummy muscles work really hard. The really obvious is if you had a cut or a tear right in the pelvic floor itself. That will have either been stitched or healed naturally, and of course that will create scar tissue right in amongst the nice normal stretchy tissue. So you could have very close up tightening in the pelvic floor itself. But we have to remember the pelvic floor is attached to all the things around it as well, and everything influences everything else. If after your baby you were really sore, you might have found yourself sitting sideways in your chair, or awkwardly on the edge, or just limping around for quite a few days, trying to protect everything and stop it hurting. And very quickly, these habits to protect and guard places that are sore, they become just that. They become habits of tension in all the big muscles around the place. To be honest, there are not many mums who wouldn't benefit from doing some pelvic floor stretching. So how do we do the stretches? We're going to do a little sequence now, some easy warm-ups where we're just gently moving, getting the flow, and then 3 key pelvic stretches that I think suit most mums. The science suggests we hold those stretches now for 30 seconds 3 times. And if you're trying to make a difference, I would suggest do this little routine every day for the next week, in the evening or just before you go to bed, so you can go to bed with your best symmetry. When we sleep, we have a proper relaxation moment where everything goes soft and nature can do a huge amount of healing. So come and join me and we'll work through a little sequence now that I hope you'll enjoy and find hugely beneficial. So today we're going to do things that stretch around the pelvis. Starting kneeling, let an arm come up, tip over to one side and have a lovely stretch all the way down the side of your body. Then draw yourself up tall, lift your other arm, big stretch to the ceiling, tip your ear and stretch down your side. and let that really come into the top of the hip area. Have a breath, breathe out as you stretch. Let it come down and into your hip. Have a breath, and as you breathe out, pull yourself up. Let yourself breathe in, breathe out, and stretch, and keep letting go. Have a breath, and pull yourself up straight. Breath in, breathe out. Have a breath, breathe out to pull yourself up. And one more, stretch up. Let the air out as you stretch. Have a breath and bring yourself back up. Now bring one knee forward. Find your hip bones, point them forward, and feel the front of the thigh that's behind you. And push your hips forward till you feel the stretch in the front of that thigh. And then release. Keep some tummy muscle control. Lean forward into that thigh. You'll get a little bit further the next time. And release. And again, lean forward. Release. Once more. Stretch. Let go. Now keep the tummy muscles in. Bring the arms up and open them wide. Turn first in towards your own knee. And feel some nice stretch in your upper back. Then turn away, pushing that knee a little bit forward, opening your chest and getting a good stretch across the fronts of the thighs. Come back to the middle, tummy muscles engaged. Turn and stretch towards your knee. Open, and then let the knee drift a little forward. Turn and stretch sideways. And again, come back, twist towards your knee, release, abdominals in, shoulders dropped, turn and lean a little forward like we were doing at the beginning. And one more, twist, and turn with a little forward lean stretch. And come back. Then take your hand and slide it down to the inside of your ankle. Bring your right hand on top and then use your elbow as a bit of a wedge against your knee. Lift up and look to the side. And then come back, have a breath, and as you breathe out, keep some tummy muscles in, follow your fingers with your eyes. Have a nice stretch and release. Have a breath. Breathe out and stretch, and back. And one more, big stretch. Come back to the middle. Then we'll change sides. So tuck this leg under, change around. Find the hip bones, point them forward. Shift your body weight into your front knee. Get some stretch in the thigh. Come back. Tummy muscles gently in, shift forward, and back. And again, keep your chin up, and release. One more, and release. Lovely. Get your balance, draw the abdominal muscles gently in, arms up and wide. Turn your whole body towards your bent knee. Feel that nice stretch in your upper back, somewhere else we need to be stretching when we've worked at the computer. And then open the chest, open the thighs and lean forward into that front leg again. Straighten out, turn towards the bent knee, level, and then twist away from the bent knee and add a bit of a lean. Check on the abdominals, they'll want to escape. Twist towards your knee, straighten, and now let the air out, stretch. Draw back straight, breathing out as you twist. Have a breath, breathe out as you twist. And One more. And twist. Straighten up, get your balance. Draw the tummy muscles in, slide your hands down to the inside of your ankle, block your knee with your arm, reach up and open and stretch, and back. Have a breath, breathe out, follow your own fingers, open and return. Breathe out and stretch, and release, and one more. And then bring your knees back. You've probably heard of child pose. This is where we round our backs and sit back on our heels. If you get tight across the hips, it's nice to do it with your feet together and knees wider. So we're going to do a breath in. As you breathe out, tummy in, round your back and put your hands on the floor. And then sink your bottom back towards your heels. Got this nice space between your knees. And then slide the hands forward. And you'll probably be able to rest your forehead on the floor. Then come and lie on your mat, and I'll show you 3 nice ways to stretch around the hips there. The first one is the butterfly pose. You keep your feet together, hips pointing to the ceiling, and gently let the knees come apart wherever is comfortable for you. So initially that might not be very far, but each time you practice, you'll find you can open a little further and the soles of the feet gradually come together. You relax your shoulders and your arms, and you gently breathe. And we encourage holding stretches for around 20 to 30 seconds. Giving enough time for the muscles to stretch out with gravity, but we're not trying to force them. And breathe. Then bring the knees in, have a little pause, and then stretch them a second time. So feet turn a little bit towards each other, let the knees open, enjoy a stretch down the fronts of the thighs, opening the hips. And breathe. Sink into it, let your shoulders be soft. Let gravity do the work, don't try and force anything. And then release. We'll do a third one because all the research shows 3 stretches get the most from the body. If that's a little easy for you, or you've been doing this a while and you want to progress, you can do your same butterfly up in the air. So either repeat that at floor level, or bring your feet in till you can grab your ankles and do your butterfly stretch here up in the air. I prefer this to the sitting up yoga style where you lean down because this doesn't put any pressure on your back. And just breathe. Let your shoulders be heavy. Allow gravity to do the work. So 3 stretches will move you forward and stretch you out each time. 4 or 5 doesn't seem to add anything more, but less than 3 is not quite enough. Another lovely one for round the back and hips, because it gets 2 things in one stretch, is to bring one knee into the chest, getting a stretch under the bottom, and then slide the other leg out long. And you get a stretch on the front of one thigh and underneath the bottom on the other side. Hold your stretch, soften your shoulders, and breathe. You can have a timer, or you can do a very slow count of 10. Then slide the foot back in, pop the foot down, change it round. And I think it works best if you pull the leg in first before you straighten the other one out. And again, notice this is stretching under one bottom and across the front of the other thigh. Soften your shoulders, relax, hug the knee gently to your chest, slow count of 10. Then change it round, slide your foot in, hold your one knee, lengthen your other, and breathe. You get a chance to just be at one with your body for a few minutes as well. Let yourself sink deeper, and then change again. And this time really unhook your bottom, slide your leg out, and notice whether your body wants you to stretch anywhere else. Sometimes you find you want to turn your head from side to side. This feels nice for your neck. Or maybe your feet could do with a wriggle while you're here. You might feel now that you could lengthen your leg out a bit further. Get into it and breathe. And then we'll go each way one more time. And as you go the third time into a stretch, you should be starting to feel like you've gone as far as you're going to go today. So it feels more than the first one. You see, you can get your knee in a bit higher and your leg out a bit longer. And it feels like this stretch is worth doing, but more probably wouldn't make much difference. So 3 is the perfect number at the moment. Really give that knee a good squeeze and hug. Stretch out under your bottom and along the thigh. And then change them round. Bring one into your chest, unhook your bottom, and stretch the other one out. And breathe. Nice big breaths. Then let the knees bend. And my third favourite stretch is the happy baby, channeling your inner toddler in their nappy. Bring each leg in towards your tummy, hold the backs of your thighs. The goal is to stretch the hamstrings at the top, where they come out of your ischial tuberosities, your bottom bones. These bones will want to pull in towards each other, and we want to get the feeling of pulling these bones outward. So hold the thighs, but with your fingertips just edging round the inner edges to pull the legs a little bit wide. This is the modified happy baby. And then if you've got longer arms and stretchier legs, you can hold your toes. And then gradually edge the legs out straighter, pushing the hips out wide, lengthening through the backs of the legs. Hold your stretch and just breathe. Thinking of this space here stretching. And then after your 30 seconds, release. You can relax completely, or put it back on. So stretch back up, and you can do a narrow happy baby, or take your legs a little bit wider for a wide happy baby. Hold and breathe, softening your shoulders, breathing deep, stretching through the tops of the legs. And then release. And once more. Unhook your bottom, think about widening the tailbones, stretching the hamstrings. Draw the legs out straight. You can keep them close to each other, or you can widen them apart, channeling your inner toddler. And breathe. No pressure. And then draw the legs back in and come and turn on your side. Bring yourself back to kneeling again like we did at the beginning. Let both hands come up overhead and drop behind your ears. Shrug your shoulders, let them go. Pinch the elbows back, big stretch to the ceiling and down. Once more, float your arms up, drop behind your ears. Shrug, release, squeeze the elbows, big stretch to the ceiling and down. And I hope you feel like you've had a lovely stretch and energizing 10 minutes, and carry on with your day, trying to keep all that lovely inner poise part of what you're doing.